In a time when the world felt heavy with injustice, when the cries of the oppressed rose like smoke from the earth, but seemed to disappear into a silent sky, the prophet Habakkuk emerged, not as a hero with answers, but as a man full of questions. Our animated film opens in the shadowed ruins of ancient Judah, where the streets are littered with broken dreams and the sound of lament fills the air. People are weary. The righteous suffer while the wicked thrive, and God appears absent. Through these bleak alleys walks Habakkuk, cloaked not just in garments, but in grief, confusion, and a longing for clarity. He looks around at his people, his friends, his community, growing more disillusioned by the day, and he lifts his voice in raw honesty. Lord, how long must I cry out to you, and you do not listen? Why do you allow violence, injustice, and destruction to reign? His questions aren't whispered. They're shouted to the heavens, echoing the deepest cries of the human heart across time. And then, unexpectedly, God answers. Not with a comforting resolution or a miraculous change in circumstances, but with a declaration that shakes Habakkuk to his core. Look among the nations and be amazed. I am doing something in your days that you would not believe, even if you were told. God reveals that he will use the Babylonians, a fierce and ruthless empire, as a tool of judgment against Judah. This revelation feels like a contradiction. How can a just God use an even more evil people to punish his own? The animation here shifts into a surreal blend of spiritual vision and emotional tension, portraying the prophet's inner turmoil with sweeping visual metaphors. A crumbling temple, waves crashing against jagged rocks, a sky torn between storm clouds and stars. Habakkuk is not given neat answers. Instead, he is called to something deeper, something harder. Faith without understanding, trust in the face of terrifying mystery. Habakkuk retreats to a solitary place, a watchtower overlooking the vast land. The scene grows still, the sounds of chaos fading, replaced by the quiet hush of waiting. This moment becomes a turning point, where the prophet moves from protest to posture. He says, I will stand at my watch and station myself on the ramparts. I will look to see what he will say to me. As the animation captures this stillness, a divine vision unfolds, majestic, mysterious, and filled with symbolic imagery. Tablets engraved with God's promises, a path lit by flickering lamps, and a distant sunrise breaking over dark mountains. God speaks again, not to erase Habakkuk's questions, but to anchor his soul. The vision awaits an appointed time. Though it linger, wait for it. It will certainly come and will not delay. The righteous will live by faith. This idea becomes the heartbeat of the film. From here, we witness a gradual yet powerful transformation in Habakkuk. His surroundings remain bleak. The injustice hasn't vanished. The threat of Babylon looms, but his spirit begins to change. Through poignant visual storytelling, we see the prophet remembering God's past faithfulness. The splitting of the sea, the trembling of the earth at Sinai, the rescue of his people from Egypt. Scenes of God's power and mercy are interwoven with Habakkuk's prayers, forming a tapestry of remembrance. The film's tone lifts from despair to awe. Slowly, Habakkuk's questions are replaced with declarations, not of certainty, but of trust. His journey becomes a spiritual ascent. As he climbs a rugged mountain trail, we see flashbacks of his prayers, his tears, and his perseverance. He reaches the summit not with answers, but with confidence in the character of God. In the final scenes, Habakkuk stands tall under a wide, dawn-kissed sky. The fig trees below him are still bare. The vines have not blossomed. The fields yield no food and the stalls are empty. Yet the prophet smiles, not out of denial, but because of a deeper joy that suffering cannot steal. With arms lifted high, he proclaims words that are both ancient and timeless. Though the fig tree does not blossom and there be no fruit on the vine, yet I will rejoice in the Lord. I will be joyful in God my Savior. These words are no longer just a statement. They are a song of victory over fear, doubt, and despair. The animation closes with soft, glowing light enveloping Habakkuk, the once troubled man now radiant with peace. The final message lingers, gently pressing on the viewer's heart. This is not just Habakkuk's story, it's ours. Each of us at some point will wrestle with life's unanswered questions, with pain that seems unjustified, with a silence that feels divine. But Habakkuk teaches us something rare and beautiful, that faith is not the absence of doubt, but the decision to trust even when the answers don't come. This animated journey becomes more than a film. It becomes a mirror, a spiritual invitation, a reminder that in the waiting, in the wondering, in the wandering, God is still present, still good, and still in control. And when we cannot trace his hand, we can still trust his heart.